Hey everybody, it's Paul from Two Bears Homestead. Welcome back to our channel and welcome back to our kitchen. Today we're going to do a best video on canning chicken. We're using the raw pack method, which is just putting chicken in a jar, sealing it, and canning it. That's it. It's really that simple. A lot of people are afraid of the pressure canner, and it's a little nerve-wracking from time to time, but don't be afraid because it's a great way to preserve food. So this chicken that we have, I got it on sale, is monstrous. I mean, there's just no way to really, you can't grill with it because it doesn't grill right. Even if you went and, filleted it and made it into, consistent sized pieces, it just doesn't grill right. I do a lot of grilling. It's not good for things like chicken franchise or, any, fancy chicken dishes. But it's great when you chop it up and, do a quick saute and, with some pasta sauce or, like gravy or something like that. But we're going to can this. Canned chicken is amazing for like chicken salad. You can use it for, shredded for taco meat. You can throw it in soup. It's very versatile and it's really good to have on the pantry shelf. And when you do find chicken on sale and you don't want to put it all in the freezer, this is a great alternative and it's for long-term storage. So I'm done rambling. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to cut this chicken up and we're going to stick it in jars. We're going to stick it in a pressure canner, and that's really that simple. All right, so here we go. Okay, so what I do is I trim off some of the excess stuff that we don't need, and some of the fat as well. I'll take all that and I'll just throw that in a smaller bowl. And what I do is I throw that in the freezer, and then I use that when I'm making bone broth or even chicken soup. Just some extra flavor there, so I'm not really wasting anything. The goal is to keep as much of this in the house as possible. Okay, we are going to be filling the jars up. I'm doing pints. Pint is actually really good for Rob and I because it's just the two of us. So, one jar makes enough chicken salad for like 2 or 3 lunches. It's plenty for dinner. I mean, it's a decent amount of chicken. So we're gonna fill each jar up. Each jar gets 1 1/4 inch headspace. Now, normally in a lot of pressure canning, you like the 1 inch headspace. It's gonna get 1 1/4 inch headspace. Nothing else going on in the jar but the chicken and I'm using some sea salt. So I also use Redmond's real salt a lot, but I just wanted the sea salt for this for some reason. How I felt tonight. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to start getting the jars filled up, and then we're going to get them in the canner. So one of the things to bear in mind or keep in mind when you're packing chicken into a jar is you don't want to pack it in tightly. You want to get the chicken in the jar loosely, because if it's too dense, then the heat will not transfer through correctly. Okay, so I managed to get 8 jars out of those chicken breasts, and in each jar is going to get a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher sea salt, and each rim gets a really good wiping with vinegar. Okay, so the canner is already warmed up. I wanted to just go over how to set up the All-American canner. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. You need about 3 to 4 quarts of water in the bottom, and then you take an oil. It can be olive oil, it could be any kind of cooking oil, it could be Crisco, it could be tallow, whatever. And you just need to wipe the inside rim of the canner because it is a metal on metal seal. So you want to make sure that that is clean. So I cleaned it, I wiped it with the I seasoned it, which is really what I'm doing. And then I also do the same thing with the lid. I'll go around the outside of the lid and season that as well. So again, it's a metal on metal, so it actually makes it just gives it a better seal. So we're going to go ahead and get those jars in, and then we'll set the canner up. So lock the canner lid on, and this is just like basically doing your lug nuts on a tire when you're changing a tire. You just want to go across the canner. So get the lug up, just loosely, put them down loosely first, and then just get them to their fingertip tight real quick, and then go ahead and start turning and tightening. So they are snug as a bug in a rug. This canner is not going anywhere. So the vent here is, in my kitchen, I turn it so it's venting up into the hood. But this is where it must vent this for 10 minutes, and I'll show you that when it starts happening. And then get turn the canner on, and now we just wait for it to come up to temperature. Okay, so now, I don't know if it's going to come in a video, but can you see steam? I don't know if you can see it. See how it's a steady stream of steam? Right there. That is properly venting. And now we turn the timer on for 10 minutes. Okay, so the timer has gone off, and now we just need to put the weight on the All-American. It's a weighted gauge, and there's also a dial, so it's 2 ways of monitoring it. I don't know if it's going to come up in the video, but it's 10 pounds pressure, so that's what we got to put on, so 10 pounds pressure. And stick it on there. There's your jiggling, so it's your cue to turn the timer on. And then for pints, chicken, beef, pork, anything like that, for the raw pack, for pints, it's 75 minutes. So I have my timer set I set it for 76 minutes because I'm always like, an extra minute's never going to hurt anything. So go ahead and start the timer, and then I'll see you in about an hour and a half. Okay, the canner is done. The heat is off, and then we are now down to 0 pressure. And it is time to open the canner up. And always tilt the lid away from you. Now, how cool is that? Here we are, the chicken is out of the canner, and look at the liquid. Now remember, we did not put any liquid in the jars. This is all liquid that came from the chicken, and it cooked in its own juices, and it's preserved in its own juices. This is a perfectly normal thing to see coming out of the canner, and it is a done process. Okay, so that is a wrap. So I appreciate your following along on this. I wanted to just do a quick recap, for everybody, I guess. So with your chicken, or your beef, or your pork, or whatever it is, cut it up into medium-sized chunks, and you don't want them large. And then go ahead and fill your jars. Now you don't want to pack the jars tightly, so you do want to just, get it in there snugly, but not tight. Don't force it in there. And then use the air debubbler, like I did in the video, to debubble it and get, any air pockets that might be in there, get that out. And make sure your head space is 1¼ inch, because you need that expansion room for the liquid that's going to come out. And 1¼ inch. Clean the top of your rims off with vinegar. You can use a hot towel with water on it, that's fine. But the vinegar, I feel that it cleans it better. So seal your jars up. Get them in a warm canner, not a hot canner. You do not want that canner to be raging hot, because the jars aren't very hot. So you want to get them in the canner and close the canner up, like I showed you. I have the All-American, so just like dealing with a tire, just opposite all the way around. Get it on there tight, get it snug. So again, the All-American canner. To backtrack a second, make sure you have seasoned the inside of the rim, and I do the outside of the lid as well, so it sits in there, and it creates a seal, because the pressure will force the metal on metal seal. So, and get it on there tight. You can't over tighten that. And then turn your canner on, get it up to temperature, and then you'll see it'll start steaming. But it's not steaming, like it should. You can put your hand over it. It's not hot. It's just starting to. You want a steady stream of visible steam, and you'll hear it too. You can hear the difference. So once you see that steady stream, if it's spitting, it's not ready. You want a steady stream of steam, and then start your 10-minute timer to vent it for the 10 minutes. Once you hit that 10 minutes, go ahead and put your weight on. For here at sea level, because we're in Florida, it's 10 pounds. So I put the 10-pound weight on, and then once it started jiggling, I turned my timer on, and for the pints, it's 75 minutes. I went 76 because I always do like an extra minute, it's just how I roll. But if you're doing quarts, it's in 90 minutes, it's an hour and a half. And I get a little heebie-jeebie, doing the canning, at those long times, because, it's a pressure canner, and it's not unnatural to get the heebie-jeebies with the canner on that long. But, it's safe if you're following the guidelines and you're following the directions to the letter. It's safe. Now, I did go a little too high on the heat. This stove is still a little new to me, so I'm still trying to figure out my sweet spot. So I did run the water low in my canner, so you do not ever want your canner to run dry, because that can be dangerous. It can also warp the canner. So, these canners, are $400 to $500, so you do not want to damage your canner. So, for me, I made, it's a mental note that I will absolutely probably add a little bit more water next time, and then I keep a sweeter eye on, the temperature. I knew it was a little high, but I, didn't really think it was that high. But that's what this is about. This is what, we're doing in this channel, is learning. So, 75 minutes for the pints and 90 minutes for the quarts. And, if you're in a different altitude elevation, you need to research, for your elevation, because it does matter when you get up to certain elevations above 1,000 feet. So that's about it. I love having this canned meat on hand. I think it's a good thing to have on the pantry shelf. I'm not one of those people that are all freaky worried about what's going on in the world. I'm concerned, but I'm not, that's not on the front of my mind like it is some other, people. So I am concerned. Let's just leave it at that. So, but it's nice to have this pantry full of the food, because, we are busy. We both have full-time jobs. I'm also content creating, so that's like another full-time job. So our time is eaten right now, and it's all in an effort to get to the goal that we want, which is to live in another state. So it's the sacrifice we're making now. But back to the pantry, I love having all that extra food on the pantry, and it preserves well. I like making it. It is a labor of love, but it's important that we have this stuff. And it's nice to be able to, come home from work or come home for lunch and be like, oh, I gotta eat something, and I can make a chicken salad from this, or I can add it to a soup, or dinner one night we can make tacos. I can go on and on and on, but you got the point. So that's about it. Now, if you would like to know how to make turkey soup to have on your shelf, watch this video here. I love the turkey soup. I think it was delicious. So that's it. I'm rambling. So I appreciate your time. Please smash the like and subscribe button, and follow us on our journey, because we have some fun stuff coming up, and we'd like you to be there for it. See you on the next one.